Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel representing Manchester. And apparently we're buying Bayern Munich's full team. Apparently, the links I'm seeing at the moment, I mean, Alphonso Davies is a name that's being thrown around the mixer in terms of who should be next at left-back. Leon Goretzka in the midfield as a number 8. And also, who's the other Bayern Munich player? Goretzka. We've got Goretzka, we've got Alphonso Davies, and Leroy Sane as well. So that's 3 players from Bayern Munich that we are linked with, whether that's in January or whether that's in the summer, because a couple of them out of contract. I think all 3 of them actually, maybe. Goretzka, Sane, and Alphonso Davies. So maybe that's why there's being links there. And I've spoken about it slightly with Florian Plettenberg and the reports that he put out, but we are getting further updates on these deals. And of course, January is only around the corner. So for those who like transfer news, exciting stuff. We're also going to talk about the Jared Branthwaite deal being back on the table. I'm going to explain why that could potentially happen. Maybe not in January, but more likely towards the summer. And would he fit Amarin's system? That's a very interesting signing that I want to talk about, including, you know, the kind of comparison and what you'll get different in terms of Leandro Martinez being on that side. We've got information from David Ornstein on Gyökeres in the summer in terms of the reports about his release clause being lower because he had a gentleman's agreement apparently with Sporting. But then how does that work if a load of clubs come in and there's a lot of sharks circling and then they're like, we'll pay 60, we'll pay 70, we'll pay 80. How does that dynamic work? We'll talk about that. Garnacho to Real Madrid. We've had a couple of reports, whether they're credible or not. What kind of sauce is it? Is it, you kind of brown sauce that's been in the cupboard for a while that no one's touched? Or is it the creme de la creme Pyrenees in the fridge? I don't know where you put your sauces, but I'm saying sauces in regards to the story, it's not the greatest sauce, but we'll talk about Garnacho's trajectory and how he's doing this season and how I feel he can improve at least. And then, of course, it's match day tonight. We play PAOK in the Europa League. We've drew our first games against Porto, against FC Twente, and against Fenerbahce. Can we finally get a result tonight and a win? Yeah. Fingers crossed. Well, we should. If no fingers crossed, you shouldn't even be crossing your fingers when you're playing a team like PAOK, with no disrespect. But the way we've been performing in Europe at the moment hasn't been great at all, has it? So I'm going to discuss the details in terms of players coming back into the side, like your Antonys, your Mounts and Ericssons, and everything that's going on around that. And of course, if we have any further updates throughout whilst I'm going through these stories, then we can always pivot and discuss them as well. So please do, if you are joining, get your opinions in the comment section, smash a like in the video for us, and let's discuss the first bit of transfer business. So Manchester United are interested in Leroy Sane and have already inquired about him. Arsenal also have him on the list. Sane will wait for negotiations with Bayern Munich before making a decision. 28 years old, 3 goals in 10 games so far this season. Is the one thing with him I'm a little bit concerned about. Oh, there's 2 things, sorry. One, that he played for City, which I'm not always comfortable with. I think about some of the games that we've had where he's scored or he's got an assist in like really important games and celebrated a bit, in front of the fans. That doesn't sit right with me, really. I know some people are much more open to it and it doesn't really bother him. I suppose that's more of an opinion kind of piece in it, but just for me personally, it doesn't sit great. However, I have said before that I want Cole Palmer, so it's kind of like I'm willing to make that step for a player of Cole Palmer's, just because I know he's a United fan as well. I think that's something that's easier. But again, it's kind of a dilemma that you have in your head, I suppose. But I'd love to know how people feel about that. Yeah, the other thing are his injury issues. So I know he's had a couple of knee problems whilst he's been at Bayern Munich. One of his main problems is, get on this, and this is a real thing, a pubic bone. Now that, if someone's just joined the show right now, they're probably thinking, oh my God, what have I, is this Real Reds Talk or Real Red something? Yeah, a pubic bone. He's had issues with that. If you look up his injury history, so apparently it's like the center of your pelvic bone, I think. So you've got I always call it pelvis, right? And it's because there's a meme where there's the pelvic bone and it's got a wig on it and they call it pelvis and it's hilarious. I laugh at it every time. But it's you've got your pelvic, Jesus Christ, your pelvic, it goes like that, right? I'm doing like a little diagram for you there. You know what I'm going to do? For the first time ever on a live, just so I can explain it properly, I'm going to show you where the can't even say it. I'm going to show you where the pubic bone is. Oh my God. Right, that sounds so wrong, but you'll see now. So, let me just save this. I'll put it on screen for you. For anyone who cares about it, this is what Leroy Sane has issues with, or he's had a couple of issues with, whilst he's been at Bayern Munich. So, Let's bang that on the screen for you. So, right. I feel like people are tuning in. They're really not going to get this out of context. So, sorry if you are just tuning in. But I'm talking about Leroy Sane. And I'm talking about the issues. So, this here. I'll show this bit. So, the pubis. Oh, pubis. I thought it was called pubic bone. It might be called the pubis bone then. I'm not sure. That's the issue that he has. But if you actually look at where it is that why it's called a pubic bone? Like, because it's in that area? Or is that where your pelvis is? Does that go into your Mr. area? I don't know. It's a good job I'm not a surgeon or a doctor in it. I have no idea. But yeah, that's what he's had struggles with. I don't even know how you injure that, to be honest with you. Are you sitting down too hard? Are you on the toilet constantly? Are you, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Are you on a gamer chair quite a lot? I don't know how you damage that, to be honest. How do you do it? Answers on a postcard, please. So, yeah, that's what he's injured. Or that's a couple of times he's had some struggles with that. So, I don't know. Take that for what you will. I'm trying to be the guy who's offering information here. You let me know. That's just what he's struggling with. But my point is, he's had knee problems. He's had this pubic bone injury. He's on £230,000 a week at Bayern Munich. His contract expires on June the 30th, 2025. Will Arsenal go in for him? I don't know, because they've gone for Sterling, haven't they, to bring into the squad. And judging by the reactions that I've seen last night on social media, they're not happy with him. Your usual typical league runners and fucking what's his name? The guy looks like Jadon Sancho, just had about 20 sausage rolls. I can't remember his name. Troops, that's what it is. Yeah, they're fuming with him. They're not happy with him. He's smiling on the pitch, some nonsense like that. And I think we were linked with him as well, remember, at the end of the window, which is crazy. So a kind of ex-City player, winger, who's, towards the 30s, maybe they've been stung a little bit with Raheem Sterling, and they won't go back. Maybe that's something to look into. Whether I'd sign him or not, I don't know. I just think you should give Ahmad a chance. I think you should push him. I think he deserves more time. The more time he gets, the better he's going to get. I just don't think they're playing him enough. They keep playing Rashford and Garnacho, and they get it the directs, the quick. When you have a quick transition, they'll burn it. But I don't know. I think Ahmad offers that perfect balance on that right-hand side. And he does as well, because when you listen to other pundits or people's opinions who I'll actually listen to, who I like, they will also say, I don't know how Ahmad doesn't get in that team. I don't know how he doesn't get more minutes. And a lot of people question it. I just think should just push Ahmad. Give him an opportunity. Maybe still bring a winger in. I don't know who they go for. Obviously, we was looking at Elise in summer. Didn't end up happening. So then we're going to take basically a player who Elise is replacing. Make it make sense. I wouldn't personally do that deal just for me. I know there's some people who may disagree with that. And they may like Leroy Sane as a player. Not a signing that I would personally make, but let me know, guys, your thoughts and feelings. Now, a signing I would make, and we've had David Ornstein speaking about Victor Gyökeres in the past 12 hours. I think he might have been on Sky Sports News discussing this. So he says, on Victor Gyökeres, this is a player we're going to be talking about so much. Manchester United will be heavily linked with him, no doubt, but let's be realistic. We've got no idea at this point if they're going to have the finance, if they're going to be able to attract him. Where does he want to go? What other clubs will be in for him? What position Man United will be in? Now, the one kind of card that we have in this, or the one play that we have in it, and the obvious one is we've got the manager that's he's got a great relationship with, and the reason why he stayed at Sporting Lisbon this season for Amorim, but then Amorim has made decisions to go to Manchester United because United basically turned around and said it's now or never. So is there a bit of not him being pissed off, but is he a bit, maybe he is a bit pissed off. Maybe he's like, well, I could have gone to the Premier League, or I could have gone to, the Spanish League. I could have gone and been competing for a trophy right now. But you told me to stay, and I put that faith and loyalty and trust in you. And then a couple months into the season, where we are I think the only team that's unbeaten still. We're doing really well in the Champions League, we're doing well in the league, and you've abandoned the ship. So why do you want me to come to Manchester United? What if you leave again there? So maybe that's a concern. Maybe that's conversations that they need to have. Will we even have European football first and foremost? I don't know, because look at Europa League, the way it's going. Look at the league position. You would say, as of right now, it's highly unlikely that we are going to get European football. So you're going to bring in a striker who could potentially win the league with Sporting. I know it's Manchester United. I know it's a different opportunity. I know things will probably turn around eventually. But I'm saying there is a narrative. And likewise with many clubs coming in, will that price then be pushed? Because if you're saying, well, I've got a gentleman's agreement for £63 million or somewhere around that figure, but my release clause is €100 million and 80 million quid. What if teams come in and go, well, we'll pay that. We'll pay 70, 80 million. And then the club go, oh, well, United are willing to offer 60. Do you know what I mean? It gets a little bit messy. And we know for a fact that Arsenal need a striker. If you've watched Arsenal, they need a striker. You ain't winning the Premier League title with Kai Havertz. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. You need a number 9, a proper number 9. I know City managed to do it when sometimes they were playing Raheem Sterling there or Foden or whatever. But Arsenal need a number 9. I really think they do. And I think maybe they'll be looking at him. Because you look at the striker market at the moment, it's not really popping, is it? It's not. I think Gyökeres is probably the best option that's available for sale now, heading into this summer. Likewise, Chelsea try signing Osimhen in the summer. I don't know what his situation is going to be after Galatasaray. Maybe they'll go back in for him, but obviously they need a striker as well. So, and you look at both of those clubs at the minute, as much as it kills me to say, they are in a better position than what we are at the minute. Just facts. We're 13th in the league now. We're 21st in the Europa League. Every player that's come to Manchester United has gotten worse. It's proven to be a graveyard. So are you going to go to Arsenal, Chelsea, or are you going to go United? Answer that question in your own heads. I think you guys know. But the manager is the key thing in this. Because he's like, I've played my best football and got my best records and won trophies under this manager before. So maybe I can go there and do the same again. As bad as United have been in the past, let's say, 7 years or what have you, they've still won quite a few trophies, haven't they? So maybe that's in his thought process. I don't know. But I would love him there. I would love him. I would start him over Højlund immediately. I do like Rasmus. I think Rasmus is 5 years behind Gyökeres in terms of his transformation. So that's not a problem. When Gyökeres gets to 31, 32, that's when Rasmus takes the mantle and starts being that one. I don't think he should be our main striker right now, personally. I think that's proven. He's got 1 goal so far, I think, this season. His injuries are a little bit concerning for me when we miss him for a certain amount of period. I don't think Xerxes is a good enough replacement. I think he's good raw potential, but we shouldn't have that. He should be either a bench striker or replacing an experienced striker. That's what I think. So we'll wait and see. I do really like Gyökeres though. Extremely like him. So yeah, we've got Lumen in the chat saying big up, Gamer TV, Mark Palmer, Tiger UK as well. Nice to see all you guys. Please do leave a like on the video for us and subscribe and let us know your thoughts, man, on Gyökeres. I'm going to discuss Branthwaite now as well because we've had some reports from Sammy Mock on him, who's a relatively decent journalist. I'm going to say, kind of not a tier 1, but he's good. He's good for a lot of stuff. So Manchester United could reignite their interest in Jarrad Branthwaite in January. Everton can't afford to offer Jarrad Branthwaite a new contract as things stand. And with his new deal expiring in 2027, maybe there's a temptation to sell sooner rather than later. Now, Alex won't be happy about this. Obviously, my mate who's an Everton fan who's been on the channel before. We've had back and forth in terms of what's his price worth. But let's face it, the reality of the situation is the longer he stays there, the more his price is going to drop. Like I said, contract expires in 2027, so it's not too bad for Everton financially, but you leave that another year and the price really does start coming down. So maybe they will drop it slightly. They was just staying at 71, then we was like, nope, we're not going to do that. I think we offered 55. So maybe we end up paying somewhere around the figure of 50 to 60 million pounds. Now, I'm going to say something maybe controversial at the moment that people might not like, but I don't care. It's our channel, innit? So we can say this is a safe space where we can say what we want, effectively. I'm just... Do I say it? I think... I don't like going against the players because I really want to support them and I really want to believe in them and think. But I think... I don't know. I think Branthwaite, in coming into this back 5, would fill me with more confidence than Alessandro Martinez. And I'll explain why. So, if you look at Alessandro in the Porto game, defending wide areas and channels he's not very good at. He's not the quickest. His anticipation and timing is good, but physical attributes, not the best. On the ball, elite, fantastic. No qualms there whatsoever. But I have mentioned this so many times on this channel. I think defenders in the Premier League nowadays, you need that stature, you need that physicality, you need the pace. You know, Saliba, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Van de Ven. You know, you can go through them all. Konate. Big guys who are quick, physical, fantastic on the ball. They've got the full package. I don't think Leandro Martinez has the package. And he's by far the worst problem in the team. I'm not saying that. I'm just not convinced on his physicality. And I think Branthwaite coming in on that left side of a back five would be really, really good. Really good. And then Yoro on the opposite side as well. Both really young. You can see it, can't you? Developing. If you want to keep De Ligt in the middle, or maybe you throw Martinez in the middle, potentially. That maybe you can go down that route. I'm not sure. But I think Branthwaite, whoever you want there, Yoro, and then you can work with your wing-backs when Amorim comes in. Just depends, again, one, how much Everton are going to be demanding and what happens in terms of their league position. Will they end up going down? It doesn't look likely. It looks like, they might just stay up. You've got, I think, Ipswich are the closest to them on 5 points, who are in 18th. And I think Everton are 16th in the league on 9 points. So, again, form, results can turn, on a 2 pence. But I do like Branthwaite. I've said it multiple times before. I think he has the full kind of package. And obviously, Ruben van Nistelrooy knows from working with him as well. So I think that's an interesting deal. Whether United will get it done or not, I do think they will go back in for Branthwaite. I just don't think it'll be in January. I think January is like proper unrealistic for doing deals with 60-50. And when was the last time we spent that? Bruno? We got in January. Apart from that, Evra, Vidic, I mean, it's an enigma. It doesn't really happen a lot. They always say, January is very tough to do business mid-season. Not many clubs want to sell. It's a tough market, and yada, yada, yada. And you're going to get all those reports in December. So it won't happen and Everton certainly won't. I'd be surprised if they sold him mid-season. He's only just come back from injury. So, yeah, we'll see. Again, developments on that. Keep an eye on our Instagram. Keep an eye on our Twitter. Constant updates consistently. Drop us a follow. All the handles are on the iPad in the bottom right corner there of your screen. Garnacho. Let's discuss Garnacho. A lot of transfer news today, which I don't mind. I like transfer news. It's different, breaking it up a bit. Barcelona and Real Madrid like Alejandro Garnacho, and his stock is rising fast with the Spanish clubs. That's from S. Bates. Again, source questionable. We're just reporting the news, though. With Garnacho is another one where I think, as a fan base, we slightly overrate him. I think he's good. I think he's got huge potential. I saw a thing the other day that people are valuing him, or transfer experts are valuing him at 90 to 100 million pound. But then there was valuing Kobbie Mainoo at 60 million pound. I was like, I don't know how they figured that one out, but because they're literally the same age, and I would say Kobbie Mainoo's more potential than Garnacho is from what I've seen from both of them. I like Garnacho, but I think I know he's only young before people go, he's 19, though, he's only 19. I get it, I know. But there's still a lot that he needs to work on in his game, and I think we overrate him way too much. Way too much. We put him on a pedestal where we're comparing him to like Cristiano, and I'm just like, nah, don't see it. Don't see it. I hope he develops. I hope he ends up on a similar path to Cristiano and ends up becoming the same player. That'd be great. And maybe he will end up at Barcelona or Real Madrid. But you're telling me, look at Real Madrid's wingers and Barcelona now. He won't get in their team. No chance. No chance. You're telling me Garnacho would get in over Lamal or Rafinha? No way. Is he getting in over Rodrigo or Vinicius? No. Not a prayer. So that's where the debate ends for me. Maybe in the future that they'll look to bring him in, but let's just keep him developing at Manchester United a minute. Work on your game. Really, really finite certain things. Like we've spoken so many times before in the show in terms of just stop shooting every time you get it. Look for your players sometimes. Stop rushing things all the time. Little bits like that, he needs to fine-tune his game, for me personally, but everyone's different, innit? Now, moving on to match day. Match day. Manchester United currently sit 22nd in the Europa League on 3 points ahead of tonight's game against PAOK, who are 30th, which is just scary, innit? Good news is we've got Anthony Eriksson and Mason Mount back in the team. Will they start? Probably not. They'll probably be on the bench, especially Mount and Antony. Ericsson, I'm not too sure because I don't know where his fitness is at. Typically, before his injury, he was starting for us. He's been one of our best players this season, as much as it's surprised a lot of people because he was willing to let him go for like 5 million quid. I think he has been one of our better ones. So maybe he's the one that comes into the starting 11 potentially. But I don't mind Ugarte, Casemiro and Bruno. I quite like that midfield, to be honest with you. And the main thing is getting the result, of course. You just got to go and beat PAOK in Europe. If you lose at Old Trafford tonight to that side, I'm sorry. I know these people talking about him like, look, they like being the underdogs. They can cause upsets. They're second in the Greek league. You've got to be beating PAOK at home. Have to be beating them. So I don't expect anything else other than a result tonight. A 3-0 win or a 3-1 win at bare minimum. If you make it tough tonight against them, I've got no hope for the rest of the season. And you can see it happening because I know there's a new manager. I know Rude's in at the minute and there's a bit of positivity. You could say the 1-1 against Chelsea was a decent result, and you could talk about, you know, the Leicester result being great as well. That's all fine and dandy. But this team's proven before that when you put a slight bit of trust in them, they can just sit a bit. Destroy you. So I'm not on that thing yet, and I'm also not going to be raving that, you know, if we beat them 5-0 tonight, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, because we did it against Barnsley and we did it against Leicester. It's hard to trust this team. It really is. But nonetheless, as always, we will be here live, pre-match build-up, going through the full team, see if there is any changes, because I'm excited to see if anyone gets an opportunity. There's reports during the week that Amas might get some minutes, so players like this, I'm really excited to see. And how much rotation will there be? Because typically, under Erik ten Hag, you wouldn't really get a lot of rotation, would you? It was like little bits here and there. But he was very stubborn in terms of his team selection. So I think players definitely, like Ahmad, deserve an opportunity. If Mount's fully fit, throw him into the ringer. You know, if there's someone in the back line that you can bring in, like an Evans or someone, do that as well. Because I think you can make 2 or 3 changes and not disrupt the dynamic of the team too much and still get a result. So, yeah, excited for it. Probably won't be able to watch it, but we'll be live beforehand, and then I'm off to work as soon as I do the pre-match build-up. But obviously, I'll be back for the post-match analysis as well. So I'd love to see as many of you guys as possible in the chat. Jimmy saying, well said, Nick, regarding Garnacho. It's frustrating, no doubt, but we need to afford him time to grow. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll see you guys later on. You might even see Chivy, I don't know. I'll see what lads are available tonight to do the pre-match and the post-match. And, yeah,